Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Day-Glo Buffalo and this is Let's Play Silent Hill 2 Blind. Now I have to make a quick note here at the beginning because when I recorded this video, which I believe is part 19, there was a problem with the software, with my recording software that I use to record the commentary with. Basically, I ended up recording the video but not the commentary, and so I find myself now in a situation that I have to do this part with post-commentary. Now, this is something I'm not used to. It's the first time I'm really doing this. It obviously will lack the spontaneity of the live commentary, especially considering that this is a blind Let's Play, but unfortunately, in this case, it's the only choice. So please bear with me in this post-commentary experiment, and hopefully we'll be back to normal in the next video. So, without much further ado, I give you Let's Play Silent Hill 2 Blind, Part 19. And here we are, back in game. In a room somewhere well below the city. In the last episode, we walked down a very long staircase underneath the Silent Hill Historical Society and ended up in these corridors with this room. We looked at these pictures of a prison, apparently, Toluca Prison, I believe it was called. And let's head back into the corridor, where there is a shambly monster that we were unable to kill because after we shoot it, it falls down and starts crawling around very, very quickly, and we're usually not quick enough with our iron pipe to beat its brains in. So I think what we will do is ignore the monster and move on, and we end up in this room with a bottomless pit, or at least a very deep hole, which we saw a picture of earlier. I think it was up top in the Silent Hill Historical Society. Now, what can we do? The hole is dark and I can't see anything. Will you jump down? Well, this is a video game and I don't think we have any other choice, so oh well, here we go. Okay, come on. Whee! And down we go. And here we are, and we come to in what looks to be the bottom of a well. What do we do now? So I don't know why I went to this particular part of the wall, which I will... Here. Huh, this is different. This spot here feels different from a normal wall. I wonder if I could somehow break it. Well, why don't we try doing just that? We've got an iron pipe. So why don't we just give it a few bashes and see what happens? And sure enough, we break the wall. And here's a door. Another ominous, grimy door, like the ones we're used to in this part of the game. And we stumble into a corridor. And we have a shambly monster, which in this case seems more like a splashy monster than a shambly monster. But luckily what it did this time crawling around, it basically crawled into a corner, and so we could kind of corner it and beat the living hell out of it, or basically beat the life out of it, or the unlife, whatever it is. And from the sound effects we hear, well, first of all, there's a dead end, and there's another splashy monster sloshing about. And sure enough, attracted to the light, here it comes. So let's reload and shoot it. And it again crawls into the corner, and we can beat it to death. That's the way I like my monsters, compliant. Just another hit for good measure. And then we can move on. I guess, I don't know, is this supposed to be a sewer system? Well, if it is very, very, very far below the city. So probably not like a real-life sewer system, but a parallel Silent Hill kind of Evo sewer system. There were a couple of doors there and a branching path. But I guess we'll check over here first. Or maybe we won't. That made a lot of sense. So let's see. Let's try the first door, and we're in. We're in another corridor, and here there's two doors. One open, one closed. Let's try the closed door. Which puts us in a cell. But there's an object here. I got the spiral writing key. And the light went out. That's not good. So let's take a look at that key. Key with slim 3-inch long cylinder attached. The cylinder is engraved with spiral writing. Well, let's see if we can read the writing. It says, "'Tis doubt which leadeth thee to purgatory." Okay, whatever that means. And basically, is this thing out of batteries? It won't light up when I press the switch. What we have is a non-functioning flashlight, which, considering we're in an evil sewer system far below the city, is not a good thing. So I wondered about the dry cell battery. I got it in a hospital room, just an ordinary dry cell battery. I know that it fits the flashlight, but I figured dry meant not that it's devoid of moisture, but that it is devoid of charge, so it's not working. So I thought, well, maybe we have to charge it somehow before we can use it in the flashlight. So I tried using the spiral writing key on the door, but that didn't work. So I was looking through my inventory, and I found that I have not only shotgun shells, but rifle shells. So that probably means that we'll eventually find a rifle somewhere. But now, the more immediate problem is getting out of this room, which seems to be just like an ordinary square cell with no defining features and no other interesting objects besides the key that we already picked up. There seems to be something next to the door, but without the light, I'm not able to interact with it. And all I know is that the door is closed. So I spent quite a bit of time going around the cell, hoping to find something that will help me get out of this room. Unsuccessfully, of course. Reload the gun, and try for the door again. And try for this object next to the door again, but nothing happens. Then I think I try turning on the flashlight. I press the switch, but nothing happens. And I do so a few times, just to be on the safe side. And walk around the cell again. Walk off all four walls. Nothing to interact with. And the door is still locked. Can't use the spiral writing key, so I decide to use the cell battery. And I change the light's battery. Now we have light, and we have a room full of insects. Pretty big insects that are hurting us, but now we can finally look at this object, and it's a keypad. So I thought maybe the combination would be 221, which is something that I saw earlier, I think in one of the documents upstairs. Yeah, that shooting the door was completely useless. So I tried to maybe fight the insects, but that didn't help, didn't do anything. And I'm getting really badly hurt. So I'm back to the keypad. No, I'll try for the map, but we don't have a map. And then I go for the memos to see if there's anything in my memos that has the code to the door. So I wanted to see if I could find that C-221 message again, but no, it wasn't taken down in the memos. So I was looking at the last couple of entries that we found. Here's a painting of Pyramid Head. The keys in the park. There's a letter and a wrench. I took the director's key. See, maybe, because it looked like maybe this guy had come into the historical society, but maybe not. At least there was no code from him. And also in this letter that we found out in the streets. Key to the societies in the park, patient buried there, so from the doctor from the hospital. But no codes in this message either. So moving on, there's a letter and a wrench. This is the map that pointed out where we could find the letter and the wrench, but still no code. Took the director's key again. We already saw that. So, another look at the keypad, and then I noticed that 3 of the keys have a different color, the 2, 5, and 6. So, I started going through permutations of 2, 5, and 6. Luckily, I didn't consider permutations which had repeated numbers, because otherwise the number of possible combinations would have increased a lot. But for now, I just went through the permutations with 3 different numbers. Slowly but surely, trying them one by one. And obviously, as could be imagined, the correct one was the very last one I tried. And so now the door is unlocked, and we can get out. And we're back outside. So, first thing to do, first order of business is healing. And then figure out where to go next. For some reason, I completely ignored the door in the background there, the open door, and I went back into the cell saying, I haven't been in here yet. And I was back in the cell. That was very clever of me. So I was just checking. For a second, I thought it was a different cell. Then I came out, and I was like, well, no, there's just 2 cells here. As I said, for some reason, I completely ignored the door in the back there, but I remembered this door, and of course, this one had a broken lock, so we couldn't get into it. And so, my long search for a way out begins, because I was completely ignoring the most obvious choice, the open door in the background that was there the whole time. So we checked out one end of the tunnel, which was a dead end, and we're going back to the beginning of the tunnel. Another dead end, but with a door. So I thought, maybe I have to go back to the other tunnel. Of course, I forgot we can do that because we were at the bottom of a well. So, check the well wall again. As if I hadn't already done that. Of course, it is just a wall. It would be impossible to climb this. And so, we're back in the corridor. And stumble again. They could have put up a sign or something. Mind the step. Or at least he could have remembered that there's a step there. That he stumbled the last time, but... well, I guess Bob is not wired that way. So again, checking out the other end of the tunnel, which is a dead end. Just in case I made a mistake earlier and it was not a dead end. Yep, still a dead end. Checking all the walls. And finally I decided to go back. But first, try the other door, the one that's locked and broken. And I walked in. Is there something? Oh wait, there's an open door. It was there all the time. I just didn't pay attention to it. And here we are in the MC Escher corridor, which is perpendicular to reality. There's doors on the wall and a big gate on the floor. But since we have a key, why not try and use it? Well, I'll think of that in a second. Bear with him. Here we go. Spiral writing key, use it. I used the spiral writing key, and now the gate is open. And again, we can jump down. It's pitch black beyond the door. I can't tell how far the blackness stretches. Will you go down? Again, I don't think we have a choice. I was actually expecting some kind of like Doctor Who-like shifting gravity, that when we jump down we suddenly stop and like land on the floor of that corridor. So suddenly like reality and gravity shifts 90 degrees just as we walk through the door, but it didn't end up like that, and we are in what looks like a cafeteria. And we have company. It's Eddie!
Killing a person ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head, pow. You killed him? But it wasn't my fault. He made me do it.
Calm down, Eddie. Tell me what happened.
That guy, he had it coming. I didn't do anything. He just came after me. Besides, he was making fun of me with his eyes, like that other one.
Just for that, you killed him?
What do you mean, just for that?
Eddie, you can't just kill someone because of the way they looked at you.
Oh yeah? Why not? Till now I always let people walk all over me. Just like that stupid dog. He had it coming too.
Eddie?
I was just joking, James.
Sure you were.
He was dead when I got here, honest. Anyway, I gotta run.
You're going out there alone?
Yeah.
Eddie?
Eddie's gone off the deep end. Not that anybody in this town is particularly sane to begin with. Not him, not the bastard kid, who we still haven't found. Not Angela, and, well, Maria didn't seem to have everything in order either. But there's a safe spot and another health drink. So, I think, yeah, I decided to look around the room before saving. I got the tablet of gluttonous pig. There's an interesting painting in the back there, but I can't get to it. So let's take a look. Tablet of gluttonous pig, metal tablet with gluttonous pig drawn on one side, found in the dining room. That's supposed to be a pig? Fair enough. So then I decided to try and read the menu, which basically led to a few minutes of trying to line myself up in a way that the column wasn't in the way of the menu, but that I was still shining the light on the blackboard so I could actually read it. Of course, now I'm not replaying this in full size, so I can't quite read it. It says grilled frankfurters, hot chili. Yeah, well, anyway. It wasn't worth it anyway, because there was nothing interesting written on there. But, let's save. Prison cafeteria. And now that we have saved, I think we can finally move on. Or maybe I was still looking around the room, I don't know, maybe hoping to find some cutlery. Not quite sure what for, since we're fairly well armed. It's a corpse. The body is marked with bullet holes. Nothing over here. Can't interact with the trays either. So I want to check the door. Looks like the door is locked and the lock is broken. And so the only exit is to follow Eddie, which takes us to a corridor. Locked on one side with a broken lock. So let's move on the other side. And we have company. And the company of shambly monsters. So let's go in the door. And this is even worse. A whole cell block full of shambly monsters, from the sounds of it. So I decided, yeah, not gonna do that. I'll stay with this corridor with a single shambly monster. There are documents on the desk, they've got nothing to do with me though. So, and we gave him the kick of death. I didn't know they could hurt us while crawling around on the ground. Not sure how they're doing it. I mean, doesn't have a mouth, doesn't have arms or hands. Found some handgun bullets, but, you know, in some way, it hurt me. A blackboard, whatever was written on it is all faded, and I can't read it. So that's no use. Let's try next door. And another corridor with shambly monsters in them. So I said, well, let's do one corridor at the time. And another broken lock. And a table where we finally find a map. And here we are, map of the prison. So we can now presume that we are in Toluca prison, which might exist at a perpendicular angle to above ground reality, which is an interesting way to build a prison. But anyway, so here's the map, the first floor. Let's move on and to another broken lock and to a locked door. And here the corridor ends in a gate with a broken lock. And somebody's banging on a pipe or on something metal off somewhere. So let's check out this room. And we find a visitor's room with a health pack. And what looks to be a lighter on the other side of the glass partition. Of course, we can't reach it from here. So, let's check out the other room. And here, well, somebody destroyed the partition, probably in their zeal to escape the prison. So it means we're through to the other side of the corridor, which looks like a corridor of like offices or something. So let's go down to one end of the corridor and start and methodically work our way towards the other end. 2 broken locks. And this should be the visiting room where we go in to pick up the lighter. I got a lighter. Good for you, Bob. Good for you. So, moving on. Quick look at the map. And another broken lock. Not sure what I'm waiting for. And why keep looking at the map, but... Well, another broken lock. Silent Hill remains the town with the world's worst locksmiths. Here's the ladies' room that we can get into. Here we got a mop. A filthy mop, at that. A half-open toilet stall and a completely open toilet stall. Some empty, dirty sinks. And a closed toilet stall. I knock on the door, but there's no answer. And then there's a jump scare sound. Actually thinking about it now. Could it have been Eddie shooting himself? But it doesn't make sense that there's like... Sounds kind of like a scream going along with it, but... I don't know if you can scream when you're shooting yourself. Oh well. A safe spot above a urinal. How quaint. Another mop, another open toilet stall. Useless. Even though there looks to be something red kind of up on the left here, but nothing we can interact with. And a semi-open toilet stall that we cannot interact with. So finally... Save game, prison toilet. I think I headed back inside because when I was going out, it looked like there was something in one of the sinks, but yeah, it was an optical illusion. So then I tried this gate, expecting it to have a broken lock that I can get through. I was very surprised when I got through and immediately got back because I hadn't checked out this last room yet. And here is another shambly monster that we pump full of lead and then give the kick of death to. Here we got a TV with a health kit on top. A sink with a... Didn't even notice what that was. Ooh, cookies! Well, C is for cookie. That's good enough for us. And certainly for Bob, and a health drink. That's always welcome. There's a diary here. Prisoners do not feel remorse. In fact, they do not feel themselves to be villains at all. Even the most uneducated brute will use what little words he knows to justify himself. And such trifling dreams they have, flourishing even in the darkness. Prisoners too are no exception. No matter how foul nor loathsome one's own life and existence may be, human nature is abiding. Interesting thoughts from what is that, the Warden? There's a magazine here. Never seen it before. It's probably a locally published magazine. Toluca Lake, the town's main tourist attraction. This clear, beautiful lake has another side as well. It may seem like just a typical ghost story that you might find in any number of old towns across the country, but in this case, the legend is true. On a fog-bound November day in 1918, the Little Baroness, a ship filled with tourists, failed to return to port. A newspaper article from back then simply says, it most likely sunk for some reason. That's deep. journalism right there. Despite an extensive police search, not a single fragment of the ship nor any of the 14 bodies of passengers or crew has ever been recovered to this day. Yeah, the ship sunk for reasons, right? Must have been a reason. In 1939, an even stranger incident occurred. There are many pages torn out. Many corpses rest at the bottom of this lake. Their bony hands reach up towards the boats that pass overhead. Perhaps they reach for their comrades. Eerie. And no, that's just the same old magazine. Eerie indeed. I was trying to look at that, at the teapot or the blackboard, but couldn't interact with any of the stuff. Wanted to watch some TV, but the TV didn't work. And so I think at this point I decided to end this video here. So, well, at this point I will say thank you for watching, for bearing with me with this post commentary. Hopefully in the next part we'll be back to normal. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like or a comment below, and I will see you in the next part. So until then, have a good one.